Good morning, ladies. It is Wednesday, April the 15th, and we want to start chapter 13. And the reason we go back to chapter 13 is it's really project-based and several activities. So that's kind of why I end with that, so we can end on just doing that. So what we want to look at in chapter 13, and I do encourage you to look through your book or your ebook at these sections. We just kind of hit these. The biggest thing from chapter 13 that you want to make sure of is your vocabulary. Are you familiar with the words that will come out of these chapters? And that's something on your final exam from chapter 13. A lot of this comes from vocabulary. So today we want to look at section 1, and we want to look at what's called isometries. Okay, isometries. And any rigid motion that preserves a length or distance is an isometry. Okay, anything, a motion, so we'll see any of these motions, translations, rotations, anything like that. What you're moving is still going to be the same object. It's just, it still preserves that same distance. So let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you, so you can see the picture. Okay, so a translation is one type of isometry. So any function from a plane, okay, to itself is a one-to-one correspondence, is a transformation of the plane. And so what that means is, if we look at the slide, a transformation means that you're going from your original and you're moving it down some line. So in this case, it's a slide line, and it's not changing in any way. It's the transformation. It's moving from one to the other. Okay. So a translation is a motion of a plane that moves every point of the plane a specific distance in the specific direction. So a figure and its image are congruent. So these two little guys are congruent. Okay. The image of the line the image of a line is a line parallel to it. And so this line right out here is what they're talking about there. So a translation basically is moving from taking an object, okay, original or a pre-image, and moving it, okay, in any direction along a line, and then you get that second image. You're still preserving what the original image is, whether it's a square, whether you're moving a figure. That's what a translation is. Okay. So then we want to move to a rotation. A rotation is a transformation. So a rotation is a type of transformation determined by holding one point, the center, fixed, and rotating the plane about this point, okay, by a certain amount. So here's a couple of examples. So if we take the F, if I hold my point, okay, and I can't do it, if I hold my point on the corner of the F right there at the origin, and I rotate it clockwise around, this is a rotation, okay, a rotation. So here it looks like we rotated it like 120 degrees, okay. If you look at the triangles, okay, it's this red one, okay, is rotated around from the first quadrant to the third quadrant. The images, the red and the blue images, are congruent, okay? It's just been rotated around. So one of the things, one of the activities that we can use with our students to determine or to show them rotation, to show them transformations, is tangrams, okay? And what tangrams are, I'll let you read down through this, but basically it's a Chinese puzzle, okay? And this is kind of where tangrams are at, okay? So you have, let me find my mouse, there we go, okay? So you have 7 pieces, and this is actually how you can make them yourself using constructions. But you have 7 pieces. You have 2 large triangles, okay, A and B. You have 2 smaller triangles, D and F. You have a square, okay, which is E. You have a mid-sized triangle, which is G, and then you have a parallelogram, which is C. Okay, so 7 pieces to that. Now, what we can make from these pieces are different shapes. Okay, the most common thing to make is the square to put it back as it became. So usually that's what you start with when you're introducing them. But the thing you want your students to understand, okay, and these are activities that we would have done in class, but please know that you want to take your pieces and you want to create something. So the first one, what did we do? Where can I do it? I can't do it. Okay. So like the first one, making the square or making this pentagon or making the arrow. So there are, so you take your shapes and you do that. You're not going to be able to see that very well on here. I should have opened up the other one. Now, one thing that if I click over to a packet that I've uploaded for you in Blackboard, okay, under today's daily assignments, this is the packet. What the packet also gives you the background, okay, but it also will come back to the assignment. It gives you samples of figures that can be made using your tangrams. And the reason that this is associating with isometry and with rotations and with transformations is because sometimes you have to flip your pieces, you have to rotate your pieces, okay, so you can't just look at it in terms of a triangle. Sometimes you may have to spin it around. Okay, and that's where you want to use tangrams to show that. So through here you can see all sorts of fun pictures. And also in this handout is a black line for you. So what you can do is you can either trace this or you can print this out and cut it apart, and you can actually practice working through these. Okay, if we were in class, I actually have some for you, but again, here's a black line for you to cut and color. And you can try doing some of these things with your students. Okay, so I gave you several if you ever want to use this packet as an event. So what from this, what I want you to take away is just as you work with tangrams, as you're trying to create either the square or you're trying to create the puzzle, the other pictures, what am I doing with them? Am I transforming them? Am I rotating them? Am I doing a translation? Am I shifting them down? Kind of think of the vocabulary. Know that when you get into your education courses, the appropriate mathematical vocabulary will come into play as you are teaching, and so you definitely want to learn those vocabulary words. So, okay, so this is going to be your assignment, and it's not due for another week. Okay, so you have a week and a half to do it. So I want you to make your own tangram story, and I will show you one that we've done that has been turned in previously. I want you to include tangrams as an illustration and a narrative. Okay, now you can search for these on the internet, and you can copy and paste the pictures in as you do this. You must have a minimum of 5 different tangrams. Okay, so repeated ones do not count within the 5, so 5 different ones. We will take a day and try to share these, or I will share them through a video after you uploaded them, so know that they will be shared. This is best created in PowerPoint. Okay. To upload this to the Blackboard Dropbox, you need to save it as a PDF. Okay, save it as a PDF with 1 slide only. Okay, per page. So save it as a PDF, and this is due Friday, April the 24th. Okay, at midnight. So I want to show you. Let me pull up the example. Okay, so I put 2 examples in here, and so this one is about breakdancing. See if it can come up. And be creative as you want to. Okay, be creative as you want to. Let's see. So first of all, they started with a chair, and they started, you can do backgrounds, you can do, whatever, just make it fun. Okay, there are storybooks in the Northwestern Library that use tangrams. There's one about, I totally forgot his name. It's a story about shape changing, and it's a Native American folk tale about something that could change into a bird, and then it could change into an alligator, and then it could change. So there are several books. There's a Three Little Pig one also that is in our library, and they have tangram transformations in them. Okay, so this is the story, and I won't read it to you. You can look at these, but they use the little man here as one of their shapes. They use the little breakdancing guys, little other shapes. Here are some other ones they found. And again, it shows all the tangram pieces going on here. Okay, it shows a bear. I thought this one was fun. Okay, showing the United States, or showing the world, sorry, not just the United States, in terms of tangrams. Okay, a boat with a little guy, birds. And so what you want to do is you want to transport these into PowerPoint. Now, one thing to note that I will, let me see if I can enable some editing on this. One thing to note is when you have your picture, if you want to take the background out of it, you can go to Format Picture. You can go to, let me see, where is it? It's not, this one usually causes issues. Yep, that's why I didn't want to do that. Okay. Okay, so you want to go to Color and go down to Set Transparent Color and let the white be transparent. Okay, and normally the white goes away, so it just didn't because I'm recording, but anyway, that usually does it. So do your best with these. They don't have to be perfect. Okay, be creative. If you have children at home, you know, help them make it story. Let them pick pictures from that handout and say, okay, let's use this story. So here's a palm tree, the boat again. Okay, and you can read the story, the gigantic wildcat. So again, you can read the story. Some of these have been pretty fun. There's actually 2 of them. I posted 2 of them for you, and on Blackboard, so you can kind of see. So your assignment, let me go back to it. Okay, your assignment is to make your own tangram story. Include tangrams as the illustration and some sort of narrative. Okay, you must use a minimum of 5 different tangrams, and this usually takes at least 5 slides to do, so don't just do this in one slide. Okay, it usually takes about a story like you were reading this to a child. Okay, if we were in class, we may actually get children and do it, so it's kind of one of those fun things. So be ready to share your story with the class because they will be presented, and be creative. This is what you girls love, so be sure to get creative. It's best done in PowerPoint, and again, save it as a PDF when you upload it. So if you have any questions, this is due next Friday. And then this Friday, April the 17th, I'm just going to give you time to work on it. Okay, it was a day we wouldn't have had class because I was going to be gone. So I'm just going to give you a day to work on your stories, and again, reach out if you do have questions. So I hope you have fun with your tangrams. And I also did post, I'm pretty sure, let me go back and look. Okay, I also posted a tangram video from YouTube to kind of explain where they came from and how to use them. And so you can definitely watch that video to kind of help you maybe have a basic understanding. So I posted the notes that we just went over, the handout that has the assignment in it, and then a couple of examples for you. So if you have questions, please reach out. I am looking forward to seeing your creativity.